Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. While you're rolling in, I'm just going to take a moment to read our disclaimer, and then we will get started on today's yoga practice. In response to COVID-19, PSP is offering virtual fitness to Canadian Armed Forces members. By using social media platforms, the virtual fitness classes tailored to Canadian Forces members Canadian Forces personnel become accessible to all. Participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members recognize and acknowledge that their age, health status, and physical fitness level are unknown, and it is entirely up to each individual to assess their ability to participate in this class. Since it is preferable to consult your physician before beginning any exercise program, we invite you, anyone who is not a Canadian Armed Forces personnel, to consult the Get Active Questionnaire of the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology and its reference document. If you experience any pain or difficulty breathing during the exercises presented in this video, it is recommended that you stop and consult a healthcare provider. If a CAF member sustains an injury during this video, please remember to fill out the CF98. Well, you would think I needed my glasses on to see that, so I apologize. All right, so thank you for joining in. My name is Emily, and I am a sports and fitness instructor at the Dockyard in Halifax. Today we bring to you some yoga. We're going to just get started, so give me a second here. I'm gonna put some music on. Hopefully you can still hear me. There's a little bit of little people background noise in my house, so this will be helpful. Okay, we're going to come to a seated position on the mat. We're going to close our eyes, make contact with our middle finger and our thumb on each knee. We're just going to start by finding our breath. Breathing into your diaphragm, exhaling the throaty breath through the mouth. Just take this as an opportunity to center yourself before we begin today's practice. Today we're going to work ourselves through a moon flow. It's a Kapulu style yoga. We're going to just allow our eyes to flutter open. We're going to start on our left side. I know for you it's going to look the opposite. We're going to inhale our arms up overhead, and we're going to go into a side bend. We're going to drop the left arm to the floor, staying in our seated position, allowing the right arm to come over top. Stay here. We're going to do about 3 to 5 breaths in each position. On your next breath, come on up to an inhale, and exhale. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. One more breath. It's going to bring us back to center position. Excellent. Bring the arms down to the side. We're going to do some rotational work. So if you happen to be following along and you are pregnant or expecting, depending on how far along in your pregnancy you are, you may want to stay away from this movement. If you have any type of low back issue, just be quite careful for the duration of this movement also. So we're going to take our left hand, we're going to place it behind our back. We're going to take our right hand and you're going to make contact with the left knee. Exhale, keeping our back nice and straight, and we're going to have about 3 to 5 breaths here, feeling the rotation of the spine, belly staying nice and engaged, belly buttons to the pulled through to the spine. Stay here for 5 breaths. Inhale. Now very carefully take your back fingers that are on the floor and kind of insy-bitsy spider your way back to a neutral position. Inhale, exhale. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So let's inhale together. Fill the diaphragm up with air. Right hand places behind you. Left hand makes contact with the outside knee. Feel that rotation of the spine. Stay here for about 5 breaths. Again, your legs are still in a cross position. On your next breath, release the left hand. Allow your fingers, kind of like a little spider, to walk back to a center position. We're going to transition now to a tabletop position. So we're going to go on our hands and knees. We're going to rotate through some cat-cow. So we're going to be on all fours. So hands making contact with the ground, knees making contact with the ground, feet are flat on the floor. We're going to inhale and we're going to curl our spine underneath for the duration of our inhale. On our exhale, we're going to bring our shoulders away from our ear, allow our hips to float towards the back of the room, feeling a lovely stretch in through our stomach. Let's do this for a series of 6 breaths. Good. We're going to do this one more time, curling our spine underneath. Exhaling into a relaxation. Curling our toes underneath. We're going to pull our hips towards the sky into a downward dog. Pushing through your palms. Allow your hips to search for the sky while your heels search for the ground, alternating force, providing that stretch. Just gonna stay here for 3 breaths. We're gonna just drop one knee forward at a time. As your left knee drops forward, allow your right foot to come flatter to the floor. I'm just gonna alternate that movement, kind of like a march. Working with your breath. Feeling the stretch through the back of your calf. And let's just hold that downward dog one more time. Beautiful. Now you're going to step or hop your way up to the top of your mat. And we are going to go into a moon salutation. So we're gonna just roll out the shoulders. I'm gonna tilt my notebook here. Come to the top of our mat. We're gonna bring our arms to heart center. Coming up onto our toes, feeling all of our toes making contact with the ground. And as if we had lightning bolts through our fingers, everything is so tight. We're gonna start with our left side. We're going to inhale our arms up overhead. As we exhale, we're going to hinge at the hip, we're still hinging, but it is a lateral motion, so we're just lightly doing a side bend, staying here for 2 more breaths. Inhale back to center. We're gonna just heel toe our feet until we're making contact with the edge of our mat. We're gonna drive our hips back and we're gonna come down into goddess pose. Stay here for 3 breaths. The pelvis is forward. Feeling strong legs, making contact with the floor. Push through the heels, come back to a stand. Arms are going to go out to the side. We're going to take a step forward with our left foot, and we're going to go into a triangle. The left hand making contact with the inside ankle. Stay here for a moment or so. We'll do about 3 breaths here. Bending the front knee just slightly. We're going to clasp our hands in behind our back. And we're going to lunge into or bend our hips so that we're bending into the stretch a little bit further. Hands are clasped in behind the back. And we're going into pyramid pose. Allow your head to hang just slightly if you want to. Whatever's the most comfortable. Bring the back knee to the floor as we straighten the left foot. Again, keeping the fingers interlaced behind the back, belly's nice and tight, hinging at the hips. into a half split. Toe is coming towards our chest. Maintaining balance, hopefully better than I am this morning. One more breath here. We're going to pull the heel back towards our knee. We're going to just dive into that a little bit. Sorry about that. Good. Curl the toes that are on the right foot behind you. Curl, pushing through those toes. We're going to come back into the same pyramid position that we were in before we took the floor. Dropping the the left arm down to the inside of the ankle, rotating the back foot or the right foot and opening your chest up to the sky, holding this position for 3 breaths. Bend the front knee forward, and we're going to go directly into goddess pose, which means we're going to rotate our front foot forward, heel toe your feet in just slightly, and let's sink into that squat, remembering our pelvis is forward. Exhale, come back to a stand. Let's heel toe the feet back together. Beautiful. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's shake everything out. Come back to the top of our mats. We're now going to inhale, our arms up. Exhale, side bend to the right side this time. Stay here for 3 breaths. Nice and strong, no saggy arms, like lightning bolts through our fingers. Inhale back to center. Let's bring the arms down, heel toe your feet till they come to the edge of your mat, pelvis under into goddess pose. Push through the heels. We're gonna step our right foot forward this time. Left foot is coming to the back of the room. Inhale, on the exhale, you're going to bend the knee forward just slightly. We're coming down into a triangle pose, allowing the left arm to float up towards the sky. Our gaze is towards our fingertips. Allow the left arm to come down, closing your chest back to the floor. You're going to bend just slightly into the front knee, clasping your hands behind your back, coming to a stand. We're gonna push our chest out just slightly, and then ever so gently, we're gonna come back down into that pose, into pyramid pose. The goal here is to work to straighten that front knee. You can interlace your forearms. Bringing your hands to the floor, drop the back knee to the ground, and we're just going to allow the front knee, the right knee, to come over the right toe into a deep lunge. Push through your back foot. We're gonna go into a half split position. So we're going to keep the knee on the floor. We're gonna straighten out our right foot, and we're gonna bring our chest towards our knee. Bringing the toe towards the nose. Hoping you can see me okay. Let's bend the front foot, bring the knee to about a 90-degree position, and we're gonna go back into that deep lunge again. Knee coming over our toe, trying to keep the heel down of the foot that's forward. Bringing your hands to the floor. If needed, curl the back toe underneath. We're gonna push through the front foot, and we're going to allow the back foot to drop so that the arch of your back foot is lined up with the heel of your front foot. And we're gonna go back into our pyramid pose one more time. Interlacing the forearms. Goal here is to straighten the knee as much as possible. Bringing the nose towards the knee. Let's stay here for 5 breaths. We're going to bring the chest up just slightly, gaze still pointing towards the ground. We're going to bend the knee that's in front just slightly, so you're once again at a 90-degree angle. You're going to allow your right hand to come to the inside of your right ankle, and we're going to go back into triangle pose, working our way back up to the top of the position. On your next breath, you're going to push through the front foot, straightening the front foot, coming back up to a standing position, rotating your front foot until both feet are facing the same direction. Everything's in line with the wall in front of you. We're going to tuck the pelvis underneath And we're going to go back into goddess. Chest is staying up nice and high. Let's push through our palms. Finding our breath here once more in our 4-point star. Dropping our arms back down by our sides. Let's heel toe those feet back together, and we're going to come to the top of our mat. So you can take this moment to grab a little bit of a drink of water if you need one. We're going to go through a series of standing poses. Again, we're going to hold each pose for about 3 to 5 breaths. Inhaling our arms up. We're going to have our feet just underneath the hips. Exhaling, we're going to come down into chair pose, keeping the chest up. 3 to 5 breaths here. Push through the heels, coming back to a stand. We're going to go into a standing runner stretch this time. We're going to go on the right side to start. So we're going to clasp our hands in behind our back. We're going to take a step forward with the right foot. We're going to hinge at the hips. The back foot is staying flat on the floor, or as flat as you can allow it to stay on the floor. The front knee is also straight. So if I'm turning this way, this is my position. Inhaling, and I'm hinging at the hip, allowing my shoulders to stay down and back away from my ears, and my nose is making its way towards my toes. Back foot is just ever so slightly turned out. Bending the front knee or just softening the front knee. Inhaling until you're halfway up to a mountain pose. Exhaling and then inhaling the rest of the way. Excellent. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Let's step forward with the left foot. Again, back foot is just ever so slightly turned out. Both feet, both heels are making full contact with the floor. Inhale. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Softening that front knee, pushing through the front knee back to a standing position, releasing the arms. We're going to turn the back foot out just slightly, and we're going to allow ourselves to come down into warrior two. So bringing our arms out to the side, chest is facing the wall in front of us. My gaze is facing that way also for now. Bringing the arms up, no sloppy arm in the back. We're gonna stay here for just a couple breaths. Inhale and exhale. We're gonna allow our gaze to go forward now, looking over our middle finger. And as if someone's pulling on our backhand, we wanna be fighting alternative forces. So if you had a string tied to your middle finger in the front and a string tied to the middle finger in the back, as if somebody's pulling and elongating your body. Hold here for 3 more breaths. Not allowing the front knee to come in. Make sure everything is staying open and in line. Good. Push back through that front foot. We're simply going to rotate our feet. So front foot is going to turn into the back foot. We're going to rotate ourselves on the mat so that the back foot now becomes the front foot. We're going to do the same thing, keeping our chest towards the wall in front of us to start. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Find your breath here. Exhale, dropping the front foot forward, changing your gaze so that you're now looking over the middle finger towards the back of the room. No sloppy arms. This arm stays up nice and strong. Opposing forces. Good. Relax the arm. Push through the front foot, heel toe, your feet back to center, and let's come back to the top of our mats. Once we're on the top of our mat, we're going to come into mountain pose, bringing our hands to heart center. We're going to inhale. We're going to go into tree pose on the exhale. So you have 2 options. Your tree pose can be below the knee joint in this position, resting on the side of the calf. Or if you feel like you're ready for it and that your practice is going to allow, you can bring the heel to above the knee joint. My only suggestion is that we avoid putting the heel directly on that joint. Let's hold it here, 3 breaths. One more breath. We're going to challenge ourselves just slightly, taking that front foot, pressing it in front of us, arms floating out to the sky, interlacing your big toe with your pointer finger, holding that for as long as is comfortable for you. I'm on a very soft surface floor, so it's not so great for me. If you're still in that pose, continue to do so. And allow yourself to very gently come out. We're going to inhale, transferring the weight to the opposite foot now. Placement of the heel is up to you. Again, below or above the knee joint. Hands come to heart center. Focusing your gaze in just one particular spot. If you're doing this with a wobbly family member, try to look at something solid. Same as last time, release that pose. Hooking your big toe on the inside, allowing yourself to straighten that leg. Heel going towards the front of the room. Hopefully you're still holding that. Hold for 2 more breaths. All right, allow yourself to come out of tree pose. We're gonna come down to the floor. We have about 10 minutes left. We're nearing to the end of our practice. We're going to lie on our backs. I will turn just ever so slightly so that you can see me. We're going to lie on our back. We're going to have both feet flat on the floor. Stretch your arms over your head, pointing your toes as if someone's pulling on your toes and someone's pulling on your hands. Now you're going to lift the left leg and allow your arms to float up to grab the left knee, pull the left leg into the chest, keeping the right foot forward and pointed. The right knee is straight, the left knee is making contact with our chest. If you have that flexibility. On your third breath, release your hands, allow that leg to soften and come back to the floor. We're going to inhale, our right leg comes up, our right knee comes towards our chest. Interlacing the fingers, pulling the knee towards the chest. Exhale, allow the knee to soften, the foot to come back down to the floor. We're going to allow our heels to make contact with the floor. We're going to push our heels into the floor, allowing our bum to come off the floor. Our hips are in full extension. We're going to interlace our fingers behind our back and push our hips up as far as they can go to the sky into a partial bridge pose. Relaxing, allowing the back to make contact with the floor once again. Rolling yourself up to a seated position and coming onto our stomachs, we're going to go into Sphinx pose. So we're going to start with our chest on the floor. Our arms are going to be placed at a 90-degree angle. Our elbows in line with the chest. With our chest, we're going to push through the palms, keeping the feet flat on the floor. Elbows still making contact with the floor. Holding this for 3 breaths. Shoulders are away from the ears. Gaze is facing forward. Good. Allow your chest to sink back into the mat. Stay here for just a moment to catch our breath. When you're ready, push back through your palms back into a tabletop position and then transfer your weight so that you're in a seated position. We're going to do a little bit of a balance pose now. This one is called boat pose. Now there is a number of ways you can do this particular pose, but for today we're going to balance on our sit bone. So let's just practice that to start. Your heels can be in contact. We're just going to have our arms out in front of us. I just want you to inhale, lift your left foot off the ground ever so slightly. Your knee can remain bent. Do the same with the right foot till you're in a balancing position. From here, depending on how sturdy you feel, how strong you feel, how your balance is, you can work to straighten the leg. Let's hold this pose for a goal of 3 breaths. Good. Allow the feet to float back down to the floor. We're going to allow our backs to come up into a straight position. Inhaling. Exhale, we're going to do a forward fold. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Chest is searching for the top of our legs or our knees. Thinking of searching for your knees always kind of helps keep the chest up instead of folding over, so shoulders remain down and back. Inhale, come back to a seated position. You're going to place your hands behind you. Fingertips can face forward or they can face the back of the room, wherever you feel like you have the most range of motion, the most flexibility in the shoulders. You're going to push through the heels, allowing your bum to leave the floor. Belly stays nice and tight. Glutes are activated. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. Pointing your toes towards the floor. That's probably a challenging one for most, especially on our triceps. Okay, we're gonna go into child's pose. Come onto all fours. Push back through the palm. Allow the head to come to the floor. On your next breath, pull through your palms. Allow your belly to come to the floor. Arms are going to go out in front. Our head is facing down towards the floor. I want you to pretend that someone is pulling on your arms or on your hands, and that someone's pulling your ankles, and just feel that natural stretch. We're going to roll onto our back. We're going to go into a knee down twist. So our right leg is going to remain on the floor. We're going to keep both shoulders are going to make contact with the floor. Right foot is on the floor. We're going to inhale, exhale. You're going to cross the left foot over the right. If you need to put a pillow or something under your right knee to support you, I encourage you to do so. Goal here is to maintain contact with the floor with both shoulders. Roll onto our back once more. Straighten the left foot, this time bending the right foot. Keeping the right shoulder on the floor this time. Bringing the right knee over the left leg. We're going to inhale, come back to center. You can bring your hands together if you like, or you can have them down by your sides. We're just lying flat on our back in a deep relaxation pose. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. And as you stay there, I'm just going to say thank you so much for tuning in today. I encourage you to maintain this position, keep breathing. Also, reminder of our workout challenge. Snap a picture of yourself doing your workout today and send it to us. You can find out more information on the PSP Facebook page. As well, we have a True Coach app in which you as Canadian Armed Forces members have access to free one-on-one training with one of our fitness instructors. It's a great opportunity, great value. So if you have any questions about that, again, check out our Facebook page and share with anybody that you know may benefit from it also. So happy Saturday. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next week.